welcome to episode 4 of the Untitled Star Trek podcast that I do. Okay, let me start over here.
It's a recap, I guess?
I guess, sort of. Hello, welcome to episode 4 of the Untitled Star Trek, the original series podcast. It's half recap, half discussion. We are recording from sunny and sweltering Van Nuys, California.
Super hot.
And my name is Adam Ordal Quinnell. I'm here with...
I'm Al Hirt.
And those are how our voices sound.
Hello.
Hey, Al, how's it going, man?
Pretty good.
It's going well. We're going to talk about...
Naked Time.
The Naked Time is the name of the episode. That is the topic of this week's episode. And it premiered on NBC on September 29th, 1966. And the Paramount Plus synopsis for this episode is as follows. The Enterprise crew catch a virus that removes their inhibitions. And as we know...
Emotional inhibition.
Well, as we know, whenever somebody has their inhibitions removed, it's usually bad.
Oh, of course.
Like, it's not like, oh, they had their inhibitions removed, and now they're great.
They have no fear.
They're great at public speaking. They had their inhibitions removed right before that job interview, and they nailed it. And now they have a good job. It's typically worse than that. Oh, and we should start.
Course, it's Star Trek.
We should. There's two things that I want to do. First off, the Chekhov check. This is my weekly check for how many fucking episodes we have to watch of this show before we get Chekhov and his amazing wigs. And it's 27 episodes.
Wow.
We've got to get through
27? That's a season, right?
The beginning of season 2. The first episode of season 2 is when they introduced Chekhov and his very horsehair-esque wigs that they put him in. And I cannot wait. And
I can't wait to see him.
On a bit of a somber note, Nichelle Nichols, we just found out before we started recording that Nichelle Nichols passed away. Yes, R.I.P. Just today or yesterday. She was 89 years old, passed away last night.
Long time.
Very long time. And not only was she great in the actual Star Trek series and the movies, but she was hilarious in the Futurama episode where No Fan Has Gone Before, where Fry and the crew meets the original cast of the Enterprise. Oh. And she is fantastic in that. They do a fan dance joke. So R.I.P. Nichelle Nichols. What a fantastic actress. Great character in the show that we talk about once a week in my sweltering home office in Van Nuys. Do you have anything that you want to say to start chatting about this episode?
No, I mean, not really. It's just a general theme, I guess, is that we're seeing is that they're still out in space hell and that, like, this is all awful and stuff. But I wanted to talk more in depth about it, but probably after we do a recap of the episode.
Well, I mean, let's, quick little recap. And so the episode starts, the Enterprise is... they're checking in on a science team.
Which planet is it?
It's planet something 2000.
Psi 2000.
PSI? Yes, Psi 2000.
2000.
PSI 2000. And this planet is breaking up. It's falling apart. And there was a science team there studying that.
Frozen to death.
And spoiler alert, as I see on my screen. Also, we're trying something new. I've got the computer that I'm recording everything on, and then I have my laptop that's got the episode that we're talking about. So if I'm jumping around, it's because we're trying to make this better for you, our one listener.
Trying to streamline it
our listener. And so yes, the crew of the Enterprise, it's Spock and a red shirt fella named Joe.
Joe, yes.
They beam down to this research station where the scientists are all frozen to death. It's pretty horrifying. And they're very icy and the best part about this scene though.
Yeah, they're wearing those bright orange. Is it orange or red?
Yes, it's the away team. The away team is wearing
like environmental hazard
They're
suits.
the most hilarious environmental suits. Here they are. Oh, look at them. It looks like from a distance, it looks like bubble wrap. But then when you get up, honestly, it looks like Elden Ring armor. Now that I think about it, it's got these
or like
these
a big
little
Among Us costume.
Yeah, exactly. It's very. First off, it honestly looks like bubble wrap that they put little silver designs on. And then made it look like
looks kind of like plasticky.
It's very, and as we know from our compendium.
Oh right. This is the only time they ever wear the costume.
The only time they ever use these awesome EV suits, man.
And it doesn't even look like it's protecting them that much either. But
and so I am a big because I hated the film Prometheus so much. I'm a big fan of when scientists go down to a planet and they're incredibly unsafe. Because they're scientists, they should know to be
and
safe.
They know that's in their career and their field.
Yeah, it's very much like the Rick and Morty. I want to touch that wet egg scene from that one episode of Rick and Morty. But we're watching it right now. This is Joe. First off, Joe is wearing an environmental hazard suit, so obviously there's something in the air.
It looks like he takes off his glove.
He just took off his glove. He took off his glove. He took off his glove, and now he's got his ungloved hand next to a drop of blood that jumps to his hand. Basically, they reversed time on that. They filmed a drop of blood falling off his hand and then reversed it. And now that's not enough because he immediately puts his bloody hand under his mask and itches his nose. Now, I would have thought that was gross even before COVID.
But I think the intent was that he feels it, but then it goes into his finger by then. So by the time he itches his nose again, his hand's already dry, supposedly. But it's like, they're on a foreign planet. He's just touching random things. That's just pretty gross inherently.
And we know that it's bad, not just... Oh, I just smacked my microphone. We know that it's bad, not only because it's a drop of blood that jumps to his hand,
awful.
But there's also an awesome sound cue that is like a rattlesnake that we hear throughout this episode. Noise. There's like a rattlesnake noise whenever the virus jumps from person to person. So then they go back to the ship.
Oh, and right after he gets infected and itches his nose, Spock was like, "Don't touch anything."
Oh, thank you. So that was in my notes that I should be looking at on my phone while we talk about this. But
don't expose yourself. That's what he says.
Exactly.
Don't expose yourself.
And so
he exposed himself.
He rubs his virus-ridden bloody hand into his nose, and then Spock comes in and says, "Oh yeah, don't touch your face or nothing.
By the way,
wash your hands. Don't touch your
these
face."
Weird suits that we're wearing, it's for a reason.
They're purposeful. But so we just found out that Joe guy is an anti-masker. Basically, that's what that proves.
I was thinking maybe he needed to take his hand out because he needed to open like that thing that he was holding. But then he goes to proceed to itch his nose with it and then just like lean on it.
And he totally could.
You could have used the glove.
He held the thing that he was trying to hold with his ungloved hand. And now they beam back up. Spock and Joe beam back up, and Spock even stops Joe before he steps off the platform.
Was ready to walk off.
Joe was ready to walk off and infect the ship, but Spock's like, "Disinfect us," and that should be de rigueur
That's already
or
pretty
whatever.
Standard.
That should be SOP, but they weren't going to do it. And then so they disinfect them, and that should be fine, right? Well, Kirk says we better have medicine look them over, and so then they go and they get a clean bill of health.
Precautions too.
Yeah, they get a clean bill of health from McCoy,
and he gives Spock shit too about his high heart rate and all that. And he's like, "Just because I'm Vulcan, your sensors are human, okay?"
Yeah, Spock's always likes to point out how the Vulcan body is.
That's another point I was going to bring up later too, since these bring out people's emotional inhibitions. At this point, obviously, after they get a clean bill of health, they go to the mess hall and all that, and Joe ends up infecting two other crewmates.
Yep, Joe infects. So Joe goes around. He's the only one infected right now. He goes to the mess hall where people are playing various three-dimensional board games.
Oh, yeah, that's what Adam pointed out too.
I realized that not only is there three-dimensional chess, but there's also three-dimensional checkers that is just fewer checker spaces standing around. I wonder if they have like 3-dimensional Clue, 3-dimensional right? Candyland. The future is just, there's so many dimensions. Joe is starting to lose his mind at this point. He's saying, what are we doing out here? And he's really, the virus has got him. Though. The virus has got him. He's talking to Riley, who becomes kind of the big bad of the episode after he gets infected here.
But he's a fan favorite, apparently.
Riley is one of my favorites. He's the actor that plays him is looking something up. Bruce Hyde.
Lieutenant Kevin Riley.
Bruce Hyde, Lieutenant Kevin Riley. We find out later he believes he's descended from Irish kings. Oh, this episode's such a turn.
It goes off.
Yeah, basically, Joe infects people through there's a fight in the mess hall because he's going crazy about they shouldn't be in space. We got no business out here, he says. Sulu.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the big speeches. He starts to get suicidal. Yeah, he's gonna talks himself into a corner.
He's gonna stab himself. Sulu and Riley try to stop him. He falls on the knife. The best thing about this scene is there's a group of people playing 4D or 3D board games that are just watching.
It's been a minute that they've been fighting, too.
They don't even react until he stabs himself, and it looks like his blood is purple. Like the color correction, the color correction on this made his blood purple. They call the medics. I'm just going to scrub here. They work on him.
But this was the other point I meant to bring up earlier, was that once Riley gets infected and all that, do people just, like, hate Vulcans at this point?
Yeah,
like, is tension still weird?
Yes, so they see, and we learned this in the show Enterprise, which takes place before all this, but there's a lot of tension between the humans and the Federation and Vulcans because the Vulcans are very much like, humans, we have allowed you to join our Federation and become... That. Yes, and humans are just... They basically treat humans kind of like a pet dog in the Enterprise show. So I think there's a lot of that hanging out still, that animosity. We wouldn't necessarily know that.
Makes sense,
but also, at this time, this is 1966, when there was even more racists than now somehow.
and then like an alien on top of that?
Exactly. So
And Riley with the line of like, let women work too. Equal suffrage.
Yep. And so Riley has the virus. He's rubbing his hands. There's snake sounds. He comes to the bridge. He infected. So Sulu is like, we got to go work out, which is weird. Like the first thing Sulu wants to do is like, I got to work this energy off. And he's rubbing his palms. It's like he's going to go have a fucking epic stroke sesh. But really he's going to where he comes later. It's very funny what happened. I'm not going to spoil it.
Love it.
But yeah. So Riley's left alone on the bridge. Spock. I'm kind of all over the place. What happens is Joe dies, and Bones doesn't know why. His wounds weren't severe enough. Yeah. Well, Riley and Sulu are going around infecting everybody else. Bones is like, this guy shouldn't have died. What the hell? And then Bones concludes that Joe just gave up.
Like mentally.
Like a scientist.
But then he goes against himself and he says later, like, but this isn't the kind of patient that would give up, so...
Yeah, well, first off, you don't give up. It's not like that. You don't. Right. Maybe in the 60s they didn't understand mortality like we do. But yeah, he doesn't have any reason to think that he should die. And then
the best line. He goes, I'm trying to look into everything that's possible. And Kirk's like, damn it, I want you to look into the impossible choices.
I need the impossible.
And it's like, oh, geez, what a terrible workspace.
And then creepy Riley reports to sickbay because he was freaking out on the bridge. And then he infects Nurse Christine. And then Nurse Christine gets all weird. He hits on her. Riley hits on her. More stuff happens on the bridge. And then, boom, in the next shot, we've got shirtless Sulu with a sword making memes like crazy. He's got his fencing foil.
His eyes are hilarious.
He is absolutely on 10. And also, and I know this is much spoken about online, I'm sure, but he's completely jacked. He's like totally like he could be an action star. He's ripped and he's very wet. Like they really wet him down.
Him on the top.
They really wanted him to glisten, and he's just tracing crew members around. And in the next shot,
Such an awkward confrontation too.
yeah, they're like there's two crewmen, both of whom look like they're wearing robes. By the way, they haven't figured out the costuming
so
yet on the
warm.
show yet.
No, oh yeah, definitely.
There's
not.
like
They make
one's got
another
a
note of
regular
that.
shirt and black pants, and then
I think this might be one of the last episodes when we see the costume mix-ups. So
Maybe.
they'll probably get it down.
and then he just Sulu climbs, and so Sulu is going crazy, looking like he was attacking these people, and the next shot or the next sequence is Spock saying, yeah, I mean, people are showing symptoms, but they're not violent yet. And then they get a report 2 seconds later that's like, Sulu's swinging a sword around.
He definitely gets the funny part in the script of just telling everything exactly as it is after the fact.
Yes, love it. And then Riley sneaks into the engine room and he takes over the ship. Now, the funniest part about Riley taking over the engine room is he basically, so Kirk runs down to the engine room and Scotty's outside, like, he locked us out. And Kirk's like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
And Scotty says, well, Riley ran in and just said, you all are needed on the bridge, meaning all of engineering, I guess. And they all ran out and he just locked the door behind him. Like, that's what it takes to take over $1 trillion starship or whatever.
Yeah, and there's no back overdrive and they're cutting into the hull of the ship.
Now they got to cut a big hole to get in there. And while this is happening, other people are running around infecting each other. Riley is singing Irish songs over the PA.
But at one point it kind of just goes crazy. I think my theory is just that the nurse spread it to another crewmate and then they just spread it all around.
They're not as careful with showing. They don't understand contact tracing in 1960.
They're not going to show every clip of people getting traced either. I think it's just to show the chaotic sense of it, that everybody's getting sick.
Exactly. And nobody is safe. And even Nurse
Mr. Spock.
Yep, Nurse Christine gives it to Spock when she says that she loves him, and you can really tell that only Spock's human side is infected, because with Spock there's this duality,
true.
his Vulcan side is fighting to keep the human side at
when
bay.
The actor really pulls out his chops, though. Both him and Kirk, they both do a great job.
Yeah, once Kirk gets infected, they're really hamming it up in the best ways. So then they break into the engine room. Spock is infected. He's losing it. And they find out that basically so the whole time, the reason it's important for them to get into the engine room is because with what Riley's done, the ship is being pulled in to the planet that's collapsing.
Yeah, the PSI 2000, the planet they just left, as the mass as it's losing its mass, it's shrinking, and then it's pulling the ship within its orbit. And I think eventually they only have 20 or so minutes before it goes completely into its atmosphere and it starts burning.
Yes. So they have
trying to get out.
Yeah, they've got 20 minutes, and
top of the crew getting infected.
Exactly, and they've got to cut into this. They got to cut into the engine room, and we're watching Spock sobbing. He's in control. He's fighting to control his emotions.
He clenches his fists and then open them, and then he just oh God, how?
He's shuffling his feet, talking about his duty.
It's so funny.
Fantastic acting
I think this is the
from
first
Nimoy.
time we've seen him cry though and break down.
Yeah, this is
Trek at all.
If I believe you that you're correct. I agree. It's probably the first time we've seen him really show this kind of emotion.
But it's super early. I was like, this is mid-season, season stuff.
They bail on him having no emotion the second there's a virus that could give it to him, because they could always blame it on that.
But it's always the half human side too, and plus I'm sure Leonard Nimoy wants some work.
Yeah, he wants to show his range. So they get into the engine room. Scotty is wrestling to get the engine started again so they can fly away before the planet collapses and destroys the ship and it burns up.
And he says he has 30 minutes to regenerate them too.
He needs 30 minutes to restart the engine, and they've only got 6 minutes. So they've really got to figure this shit out. And Scotty says, I can't change the laws of physics. I need 30 minutes.
They can't do the impossible in this scenario, Kirk.
Yeah, they can't do it. Something that's impossible is impossible. And we got to figure out some sort of cough button for when we're going to cough for our mics. So they're figuring that out. And then what they figure out is what's going to happen if they start the ship to fly away is the engines are going to explode. So what they need to do is they need to change the intermix for the dilithium or whatever for the engine. So they're going to make it so rather than an explosion, it's going to be a controlled implosion.
And they're going to divert the energy of the explosion to
it back into its. Yeah, that's what I think. Exactly. Yes, I think you understand it as well or better than they did.
What's it called when they do it in Treasure Planet? When they throw that bomb down into the black hole and it like pushes them out.
Sure.
It's like there's like 15 sci-fi scenarios.
Yeah, that's a big they get that from this, you know, and it's the same thing with the Futurama when they're working when the Globetrotters are working on the and he says, you gotta Globetrotter that explosion up a little bit, Farnsey, make it an implosion. So they gotta figure out how to do the intermix. And Scotty's like, there's no way I can figure it out. We need the formula for it. There's a million variables. And so Kirk goes to find Spock, and Spock's freaking out because he's got the disease, and Kirk's got the disease.
Infected too.
More people are getting infected.
Though, thankfully, figures out a serum.
Yeah, McCoy cures it, but he needs.
He can't distribute it because his teammates are
all wacky on
too.
the infection. Yes, he's like, we need the formulary to start manufacturing this, and the formulary people are like, wah! They're like they've been Joker gassed down there in the lab.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And so Kirk and Spock have this very sweaty, emotive scene where basically Spock sees that Kirk is succumbing to the virus, and that makes it so that Spock is able to kind of pull himself together enough.
They both pulled themselves
to figure out the formula. But I really think the important thing about this scene is that Kirk slaps Spock so goddamn many times. And is that when Kirk gets infected?
The second
so then there's
a
snake, the snake sound. And then now Kirk is getting infected and Spock is talking to him.
Kirk gets infected immediately, though. He's so dramatic.
Yep.
I mean, I think the second he smacks him.
They
too.
slap each other a bunch. Stunt double for Kirk falls over a table. So now Kirk is explaining to Spock, we need this intermix formula so we can create this implosion. And what turns the table in my mind for Spock here is he sees Kirk losing it to the virus, and that's enough to remind him that and it's the Vulcan half of his logically he sees Kirk being illogical, and then the Vulcan half starts fighting the infected half of his brain. Lots of great reaction shots of Kirk like crossing his eyes, looking insane here. Absolutely love it. And then he figures out the formula. And they fly away from the planet, and then shit gets weird. First off, when the planet explodes, it just looks like in the view screen, it looks like a pile of white lights. Like that's the destroyed planet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the destroyed planet, but then
or you just took a lens and just put white paint on it.
Yeah, or
it against something.
But then the coolest effect is because of the implosion. They go back in time 71 hours. So, and we watch Sulu's chronometer go back 71 hours. Right. I love a good chronometer going backwards. That's one of my favorite effects in any sci-fi, but when they do it in Star Trek specifically I just love when the chronometer goes backwards here. And so they go back in time 71 hours and then it doesn't matter at all. It's the most hilarious shit because so they go back in time 71 hours and Spock goes, whoa, Captain, we have the formula for this now. We can go back in time to whenever. We can go wherever. We can just go back in time however far we want. And Kirk's response is, yeah, we might have to do that sometime. Boom, end credits. They just solved time travel. And that's the end of the episode. Feels like a bigger deal.
No, yeah. I mean, I think it's just they're relieved that they're alive and they're over the emotional. What is it called? Impulses.
The immediate trauma of what was happening, I guess. But just how time travel is going to become. God damn it!
It's a huge theme in the Star Trek.
Time travel ends up being like the most important shit, and there's even like a special time federation in the future. And so this is, I think, unless I'm misremembering something about the last few episodes, this is the introduction to time travel in Star Trek the original series. Yeah, Star Trek in general. This is all it was. Yeah, absolutely. And that was us talking about that was us recapping the episode. That's the naked time. And what'd you think, Al?
I liked it. Definitely more upbeat than the previous couple of episodes. It's not as dire. I think the dire parts, and we're obviously.
I mean, the ship is going to explode.
Oh, for sure.
There's a ticking clock on the ship.
That was insane.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like I'm already used to those kind of stakes now, watching 2 or 3 episodes of this show, you know?
Sure.
This feels like a hell torture show of space hell, you know, and every week they just get screwed.
Well, and what the weird thing about this is, where I don't think they executed this as well as they could have a little bit, is so this virus is supposed to lower your inhibitions, but like nobody's like, and yes, Nurse Christine gets very amorous, you know, when she has it. But they should just be like people fucking in the hallways. Like they even make fun of this episode in a little throwaway joke on Lower Decks, where it's like a Mariner is in a simulation where she's being tested by Starfleet or something, and it's like, oh my god, everybody on this ship in this simulation has a virus, and they're all just like fucking in the hallways and shit. Because they write what
that's true. That's what it should have been.
But yeah, so it just really makes them kind of kooky and possibly violent. It brings out your baser instincts, I guess.
No, but I think it's like it brings out the worst thoughts in you. Like, so say like you almost get in a car accident and you're like, I'm gonna fucking kill that person.
Yeah, but
like if you're infected, you'd go after that person and kill that person, right?
But Nurse Christine, that's not a negative impulse to love Spock.
True.
So what it's not
like,
just
does she love him the whole time?
They've kind of touched on that, I think, and they even mess with that in Strange New Worlds as well.
The other thing I want to bring up too is that Riley's like, and Joe's like, if you're not pointy eared, don't fuck with me. And the other guy and Riley goes, he like gets really pissed at Spock for giving him orders. And it's like, people just hate Vulcans. Like we already brought that up, but it's like, I guess that's their lower part too.
They get there. They
What's
definitely
another irrational part though. I mean, I guess Sulu's like probably the most innocent.
Yeah, Sulu just wants to be
playing with weapons.
Sulu just wants to be a swashbuckler. You know, he's not really hurting anybody or hurting himself like Joe, or hurting the entire ship like Riley taking over.
Spock has like an existential crisis.
Exactly. Spock is like, what is being in control of my emotions if I don't have love?
Trying to figure out though, like the theme of this episode was just maybe like be in control of your own self.
Well, so they touch on it.
Letting emotion get in the way of everything.
I think that they,
especially at the end, right when Kirk's like, "Get a hold of yourself," and then he's like, "Oh my god, I can't get a hold of myself," and Spock's like, "You need to get a hold of yourself."
Yeah, well, I think Joe touches on it a lot when he's talking about how they shouldn't be in space, you know, and Joe is like, "We shouldn't be out here, man." So it's just kind of like
about that.
Well, let's talk about it. So it's the dangers of space. Joe is saying that they don't have any right to be out in space because Joe says if man was meant to fly, he'd have wings, and if he was meant to be in space, he wouldn't need to breathe oxygen. And so that's how his fear is responding. That's the emotional response he gets from the virus. The fear response of being in space.
But what I was thinking, though, it touches back to that giant theme of like, I call it like the Tony Stark paradox, or like the Batman paradox of like, hey man, if you weren't a hero trying to push these criminals to their upper limits, then like these criminals with these upper limits wouldn't exist. Like you guys kind of need each other to coexist. And Joe's point was like, if we keep pushing ourselves out into space, we're polluting it, we're infecting it. So in one hand, he kind of has a point, but on the other hand, it's like Kirk was saying, you keep asking yourself, why the hell do we do this? And it's like, why do people go rock climbing? Why do people go, base jumping? Why do people do this? Like when they know it's obviously dangerous, it's just because we can. And I think that's part of the human exploration that
It's-
they barely skim on, because this is more about the infection and all that and what it does to them. But that question I like, and like the whole like, why do we even do what we do, and
Well, plus
things kind of depend on each other.
to me, it's interesting that Joe is basically saying that humankind is a plague on the universe while he's passing a plague around the ship. Like, that's one of those times when the speech of a character is like directly relating to the themes of an episode. And I liked it a lot. And you really see the virus just brings out the emotions in people, like whether it's not necessarily bad, not necessarily good. I think that it's so one of the interesting parts about this episode, and if we were a better podcast or we'd been doing this for longer and I knew how to do any of this stuff, I would put the Irish standard song Kathleen under this.
That song was so awful.
So I know. So Riley is singing this Irish song called Kathleen over the loudspeakers while the entire like second half of the episode is happening,
over and over,
and other people are singing it with him. And
that's the thing. Other people sing it, but then they just replace Kathleen with another name.
Yeah,
like that scene of that girl getting stopped in the hallway. What's her name?
The Yeoman Rand.
Yeoman Rand, yeah.
Yeah, somebody stops her and sings at her.
Yeah, and she's like, Spock, help.
Oh, yeah, and Spock tries to help her for a second. Spock's, so this crewman is like basically
like harassing
Rand, and she's like, and then Spock stops him, and as soon as Spock is like out of the scene, he follows her to the turbo lift.
Creepy.
And he's just singing at her. And then she calls for Spock, but Spock is gone. And so I'm assuming that turned out okay.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because we don't see what happened.
I was thinking he turned back, took care of it, and then went downstairs.
Yeah, we'll give Spock the benefit of the doubt. And then Spock gets infected, and like we said, it's his Vulcan half fighting his human half. And one of the things, like, Spock's just crying, and he's like, I never told my mom I love her.
Yeah, that part was
and at
weird.
This point, like, your mom's still alive, dude.
Yeah, right.
Like, your mom's alive. She's in the show later.
Space mail.
You could just go write her a space mail. Like, take a note to yourself for when you're no longer infected by the emo virus.
Well, the line right after, too, that Kirk says is hilarious, too. He's like, we have 4 or 5 minutes till we burn up.
Yeah. And you're crying about your mama. And then Kirk... The scene where Kirk is getting infected and getting sweaty, and him and Spock slap each other so many times,
so bizarre.
And then Spock sees Kirk going mad with the virus, and that his Vulcan side reins his other half in, and then they figure out the intermix formula. What I thought was strange too is and maybe this just might have been production value. Really, only seems like 5 or 6 people get the virus. It's almost like
they had a crew of like 16. It looks like.
Yeah, but there's 400 people on the Enterprise.
6 people got sick.
So
maybe a total actually.
And so I feel like this episode's trying to do too much.
14 out of the 16 got sick.
I feel like this episode was kind of trying to do too much too early because like the virus seems like it would be its own A story.
Joe's question was incredibly deep, but I mean, I feel like they've already confronted it before in Starfleet. But like in terms of the show in Star Trek, they don't address it at all. Because at this point, and I'm part of the audience too, I'm just like, there's just been space hell. Like they obviously haven't addressed that. Like they've been through the ringer multiple times at this point
already. And we're only 3 weeks into a 5-year mission or whatever.
And like they only do the whole where no man has gone before in the intro and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Kirk is just like, we go out because we can do it. And like he says that for 2 seconds, but I feel like that whole question was just the whole segue they could have covered too. And also the scene between Kirk and Spock, just like them dealing with their little issues. I think maybe this is just the writer's way of just showing little hints of these issues growing, their roots, and then we'll just see them sprout later in the show.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't even know that they were thinking that far ahead, though. Like, that's what's funny, because this was when TV was serialized, right?
True.
So you're exactly in the right headspace if we were watching Strange New Worlds or Discovery or anything made in the
contract.
Or anything after Next Generation season 2 when they knew that they were going to keep making episodes. But
True.
But that's what's so good about it, though, because they weren't thinking ahead and it worked.
Oh yeah,
they weren't
they started to
thinking.
end it there.
I mean, like, and yes, Gene Roddenberry probably had. I haven't done a lot of research. We're not the Star Trek research podcast.
No, we're not. We're just fans going over this. But I think, and with our theories, but I think that he either worst case scenario is a bum episode, and they can just like pick pieces of like this character development for later. I think that was his intention. Because there's just like a lot of things that are big deals, like that we were both thinking of, that just never like. Well, it could be their own episode, right? But it was all about the infection, and
but it wasn't about it wasn't about the infection. It was about the ship going to be destroyed. And
physically, yes.
sure, the infection did cause that because that's what caused Riley to take over the ship. But
causing them to go in orbit more.
Motherfucking Bones cures the disease in Act 2.
True.
Like, so they have the cure for the infection. Yes, they've got to get it produced or whatever, but so that's taken care of. Now they got to deal with the ship.
Engine,
and then at the end of the ship, they invent time travel, or at the end of the show. So it's just like, what is this episode about?
That's a huge deal, too, that they don't even address.
And I think and yes, there's probably a goddamn wiki that explains but if I had to guess what the title, The Naked Time, is about, I think it's because they render time naked by going back in time. They expose time as this malleable thing that they can control. You know, it's unshrouding the mystery or the veil on time travel.
The naked time.
And they talk about it for 2 seconds. Let's hear.
I was thinking it more towards though like the actual infection, like the naked time as in being like them being completely exposed.
No.
All right, so I was going to try to list out the symptoms too. I have sweaty.
They're sweaty.
It's kind of a truth serum. They say what's like on their minds. There's no filter. That's the thing. There's no filter. And they're irrational and or drugged.
Yes.
They're really itchy. They
do get itchy.
And then they're delusional. And I said it brings out the worst quality in people, but it's like Joe's question is valid.
What are we doing?
It's just
out
that
here?
They should have covered it in the Federation.
What?
But they haven't covered it with the audience, you know?
Yes. So here's what in the episode. So this is the Wikipedia for The Naked Time. It's the 4th episode of the first season of the American science fiction television series Star Trek, written by John D. F. Black and directed by Mark Daniels. Aired when we said it aired, September 29th. In the episode, a strange, intoxicating affection which lowers the crew's inhibitions spreads throughout the Enterprise. As the madness spreads, the entire ship is endangered. This was the first episode in which we saw the Vulcan nerve pinch.
Oh, yeah. He does it on Sulu.
However, the nerve pinch was actually filmed first in The Enemy Within, but Enemy was broadcast a week after The Naked Time. They
also say in the compendium that the Enemy Within is another character development episode too.
Yes, absolutely. And this story has a sequel in Star Trek The Next Generation, The Naked Now. So now let me see where it says what this was originally intended as a 2-part episode with a cliffhanger of them going back in time.
See, there's a lot to unpack.
So look at this. So the production notes here. So this episode was originally intended to be a 2-part episode with part 1 ending as the Enterprise goes back in time. Ending was revised so it would become a standalone episode. And eventually they do Tomorrow is Yesterday, which that's a great episode. I remember watching it when I had COVID. I can't wait to talk about it. But that makes so much fucking sense, right? Because I was like, what? So they invent time travel at the end of this episode and that's it?
Yeah.
And then it's a completely different story next week. But they did intend it as a two-parter. So that makes sense. And let's see here. Oh, The Naked Time is also the only episode of the original series in which all 3 principal female characters, Uhura, Yeoman Rand, and Nurse Chapel, appear in the same episode. Which is funny because motherfucking Riley jokes about women getting equal work and such. And then this happens to be the episode where all 3 women show up. We should have checked to see if it passes the Bechdel test.
Okay, the sleeve. They finally are starting to show insignia of ranks. It says in the Wikipedia.
Oh,
too.
yeah. It's also the only original series episode in which the rank of lieutenant was shown or referred to. The sleeve insignia of that rank is a single broken stripe.
What? Did you see that footage from this episode appears in X-Men Days of Future Past?
Yeah, they're probably watching.
Maybe they're watching it on TV.
Yeah,
or something.
probably watching it on TV. Also, the 2009 Star Trek film makes reference to this scene where Sulu acts like a swashbuckler.
Oh yeah,
and he says fencing. Sulu does also fence more in this series as well.
Good.
And I guess so. I can't find. So yeah, so we're just gonna go with.
Maybe we should just Google naked time
meaning
title theory.
There
or
we
something
go.
Like that.
Hey, listen to that teamwork. You are literally listening to two people Googling Star Trek stuff. That's on you.
This
That's
is how it's going.
Let's see here. The naked time title.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything
Star
in here.
Trek.
The biggest thing that the compendium I have takes is the character development and then the effect.
Yeah, it doesn't say. No, I'm not seeing any good results. So I think that the naked time, it's both the things we said.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's their inhibitions are rendered naked, and also they render time naked by solving time travel.
Oh yeah, too.
And we're the first people to ever theorize these things.
And there's also the two things that guy wrote, or the random people wrote on the wall. Love mankind and sinner repent, right?
And so there's a couple times when it looks like, one moment, when it looks like there's writing on the wall that is in blood. And what's the first one?
The first one, it says love mankind.
Love mankind. That's some hippie shit. This is 1967.
Right,
the hippies were just taking
red.
Like it's written in blood.
Right.
But they hadn't been violent at that point.
I mean, they were just laughing.
But yeah, so what the hell? So there's a weird writing that says love mankind.
They're threatening but non-violent because they're threatening the safety of everybody on the ship by driving it into orbit. But then the guy, Riley, doesn't beat up anybody in engineering or
No, they just trick them because the engineers are obviously very dumb and gullible. Why would they need all of engineering on the bridge? I don't know
why. And no one's like, shouldn't one of us stay?
One of us should stay back here.
Just in case.
Riley seems weird.
He's all sweaty.
He's extra sweaty. The HD remaster makes everybody look sweatier, but he was even sweatier than sweatier than sweaty. And it was a good episode. So in general, you liked it?
It was really solid. Yeah.
Great episode.
They've all been pretty bangers. There hasn't been anything that's been like no duds or anything.
And something that I covered in
all the guest stars have been crushing it too.
Yes. And something that I covered in the pilot of this that people might never hear is one of the big reasons that I wanted to start talking about this is because I never was interested in watching Star Trek, the original series. It always looked really dated to me.
Yeah, same here.
And then I saw these remasters and it looks fucking awesome. And then like the cultural political stuff, like the sexism and the racism and shit. It's just, it's so funny and potent and just like watching it now, it just makes a lot of sense, I think, to talk about these things now. And they look great. It's just such a great experience of watching these episodes. So if you've been holding out watching the original series and you grew up on Next Gen or Deep Space Nine or whatever, check it out. Go back to it.
Yeah, they're definitely worth it.
Paramount Plus is not paying us yet, but they look really good. They look really good. So I agree. This was a great episode.
Yeah, I think it's pretty solid.
I look forward to talking about
next one?
What is the next episode. I keep trying to do the wrong mouse. Got too many computers. The next episode is The Enemy Within.
Oh, yeah, The Enemy Within.
Which was actually, they filmed a Vulcan neck pinch for The Enemy Within, but it ended up airing after this. So that'll be the second appearance of the Vulcan neck pinch. And here, really quick, The Enemy Within is, the IMDb write-up says, a transporter malfunction splits... this is a fucking great episode. The transporter malfunction splits Captain Kirk into two halves. One meek and indecisive, the other violent and ill-tempered.
Awesome.
The remaining crew members stranded on the planet cannot be beamed up to the ship until a problem is fixed. And it's funny because that problem isn't we got to put the Kirks back together. There's some other problem that they also have to deal with.
Of course, there's always some other problem, though. This is Star Trek here.
All right, so that's what we're going to talk about next week. But now we get to us talking about recommendations for shit. Al, what you got? What are you watching, listening to, playing? What recommendations do you have?
I guess it's pretty stereotypical. Well, actually, wait. The Beyonce album was actually really good.
Renaissance.
I listened to it more. Energy that has Skrillex, Pharrell Williams, and like two or three other producers. She got like 50, 60 people on there. It's insane.
And but no featured verses or whatever.
There's a couple of people doing ad libs and like rapping and stuff in the back, but there's no credit. Actually, there's some credit.
And I just like that it's a Beyonce. I'm not very knowledgeable about Beyonce, but I had to go for a couple long drives in the last couple days, and I played it, and it's really fucking good.
It's interesting.
It's definitely a vibe. It's almost more. Sure. It's like it's a vibe. House. Yeah, it definitely.
And there's one artist in particular that I really like, AC Cook. Or AG Cook. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. But the song is All Up in Your Mind. That producer that's made that song he's part of this collective called PC Music. And, Sophie and like the metallic sounding snares and all that weird computer sounding music and shit. They've been kind of like the driving force of that. And like to see Beyonce finally like put them on and
bring them into the main.
And it's there's a lot of LGBTQ references of like genres that she covers with every single song, which is the other thing that I really like, compared to Drake being like hammered one night in the studio and pumping out these 5 songs that he calls a fucking EP.
Oh yeah, Beyonce like, is very like
these two different fucking ways that make good house
album,
music, or good electronic stuff,
Yeah, dude, I dig it.
I
dig it. I think I don't know that I've recommended this already, and I'm sorry if I did on one of the first couple episodes. And also, I should say we're recording
Mr. Carmack
like
too. He's got new music. Very good guy, Mr. Carmack.
Okay,
Trap.
Good. And so we're recording a bunch of episodes. Then we're going to start releasing them. So shit won't be current necessarily.
Of course not, but this is just recommendations.
I'm going to recommend Wellington Paranormal. This hilarious show on HBO Max. It's Jermaine Clement. It's a lot of the same people who work who worked or created What We Do in Shadows, and it's that same kind of mockumentary vibe. But it's about a little New Zealand police force in Wellington, New Zealand, and they have there's like 3 of them that are the paranormal police force basically within the regular police force, and it's very fucking funny.
Okay,
really there's 3 seasons, and I think they're in season 4 now. But of course, it's a New Zealander show, so it's like shorter seasons. But definitely check it out, Wellington Paranormal on HBO Max.
One other thing, though, on HBO Max for Harley Quinn.
Oh, duh! Yeah, new Harley Quinn, shows. And they're fucking great. We watched them the other day. So good.
And Rehearsal too, also.
And The Rehearsal. I haven't seen I'm waiting until they resolve that story that they started in season 2, and then I'll watch them. Do they just do a different thing completely in the next episode?
I don't want to tell you. You just gotta watch it, dude.
All right. I'm going to watch The Rehearsal. This has been Adam Ordall Quinnell.
And Al Hirt logging off.
Yep. Have a good rest of your one. Bye.
Peace.